Hello, I'm Steve Gaisford. The headlines in London tonight. Southend murder. An investigation is underway after police discover the body of an 88-year-old woman. Mysterious memories, looking back at the life of an... First tonight, a murder inquiry is underway after an 88-year-old woman was found dead in Essex. Police were called to a house in Southend yesterday evening where they discovered her body and an elderly man who'd been injured. A 34-year-old man was arrested at the scene. Here's Piers Hopkirk.
Forensics teams continue their searches today, hunting for clues as to how a frail pensioner came to be murdered here at her home in a quiet Southend street. Johnston Road is a popular area with retired people. Neighbours here have spoken of their disbelief.
Very shocked. I didn't know the woman, but we've never had anything like that round here. It's a bit frightening.
It is quite appalling that something like this can happen, an indiscriminate killing. So yeah, it's quite shocking and appalling, really.
Police were called here at around 6:45 last night, where they found the 88-year-old victim lying dead. Detectives have not yet revealed her name. The outcome of a post-mortem is expected later today. A 64-year-old man was also found here suffering head injuries. He's been treated and released from hospital. Meanwhile, a 34-year-old man is being held in custody by detectives. He's being questioned on suspicion of murder. Piers Hopkirk, London Tonight, Southend.
Some more headlines now, and 5 men have been released on bail after a woman died in a hit and run in North London. The 20-year-old was hit along with 5 other people when a white Honda mounted the pavement on the North Circular in Palmer's Green on New Year's morning. 3 of them are seriously hurt. Police are appealing for any witnesses to come forward, in particular the driver of a red car seen at the time of the collision. 2 people have been rescued from a block of flats in South London after a fire broke out on New Year's Day. Nearly 40 firefighters battled for 10 hours to put out the blaze above the Little Bay restaurant in Battersea. It's not yet known how the fire started. Health chiefs are looking into a possible outbreak of Legionnaire's disease at Basildon Hospital. 2 patients are thought to have contracted the potentially life-threatening illness. The hospital was recently under scrutiny for its high mortality rate and poor hygiene standards. And police have released a CCTV image of a woman they want to speak to after the assault on a 2-year-old boy in Tesco's in High Wycombe. It's thought the woman slapped the toddler around the face and shouted in his ear because he wouldn't stop crying. She then fled the store. Next, a charity shop in Potters Bar is trying to find a new home for a very special photo album. Donated anonymously to Cancer Research UK in Darks Lane, it tells the personal story of Siam Joe, a young airman who served in the RAF during World War II. Nick Thatcher has been along to take a look.
As any seasoned shopper will tell you, there's always a bargain to be found in a charity shop, as well as the occasional treasure.
This is how it came, just a very pretty photo album. I thought I'll sell it for a couple of quid or something like that. And then I opened it and there it was. Oh my God. Various photographs of Second World War, beautifully described.
The album tells a fascinating personal story of a young man identified only as Siam Joe. It includes a faithful and annotated history of his service in the RAF, with photos of places in Egypt, Burma, Thailand and India.
I really like them, despite the difficult times being war. They're quite happy photos. They are quite happy recollection of the whole situation.
The album was donated anonymously, and the manager here suspects it was a personal choice to raise money for cancer research.
Of course, people donate to charity for all sorts of reasons, often incredibly personal. And aware of those sensitivities, the shop here doesn't want to trace the family as such. They just want to ensure that such a special item goes to a home which will really appreciate it.
There are pictures of school days at West Green Mixed Junior and Belmont Road Senior Boys, suggesting Joe hailed originally from Haringey. The hope is someone who knew him or someone who has a genuine interest in that era will buy the album and in doing so help a good cause. Nick Thatcher, London Tonight, Potters Bar.
Now, thousands of tonnes of earth left over from replacing London's leaky Victorian water mains is being used to create a new island haven for rare birds off the coast of Kent. Instead of dumping the soil and cast iron pipes in landfill, engineers at Thames Water came up with the idea of shipping it to Hoo Island, an abandoned military site in the Medway estuary near Chatham. Sangeeta Kandola reports.
It's not exactly Paradise Island, but Hoo Island in Kent could soon be a bird haven for London's feathery friends, as it's hoped they'll flock here. And it's all because of these cast iron Victorian pipes. It may not have escaped your notice, but they are being dug up around the capital and being replaced by more durable plastic ones instead. Now, the soil from the dig is making its way to Hoo Island instead of going to waste.
The material that comes out of the road is a mixture. You've got asphalt, concrete and then strange materials underneath, very different types. So we take out that which we can reuse, crush it and put it back into the roads. What's left over are soils and clays that we're taking by barge down to Hoo Island.
1,500 tonnes of soil from the capital is transported here by barge every single day. 200,000 tonnes of it is already on the island, as you can see behind me. Eventually, the plan is to allow birds to flock here and take up full-time residence.
We don't want to send anything to landfill, so once we found Hoo Island and worked with people that own it, found we had suitable soils that weren't contaminated, could be reused, it was an ideal match really. But now we're actually building an environment that will be used for wildlife and will attract birds into an area that's certainly going to be there for a long time.
This is what the 146-acre island looked like in the height of summer. It doesn't look too bad in these pictures, but on closer look, much of the land is marsh-like, muddy now, and in need of care.
Hoo Island used to be owned by the Ministry of Defence. In 1890, they even built a gun fort, which is still there, as you can see, but it was never used. It was disarmed before World War I.
The island has tons of soil from the capital's Victorian waterworks arriving every day, but it will be years before Hoo is turned into an island of hills and wildlife. But there are already some potential early birds getting a bird's-eye view of a place they could call home. Sangeeta Kandola, London Tonight, Hoo Island.
Certainly chilly outside, isn't it? Let's find out if the cold weather is set to continue. With the details, here's Manali. Well, that's all from the London team for now. Don't forget, you can look up what's been happening in the capital on our website. That's itv.com/London. You can, of course, watch the programme again, which I thoroughly recommend, or get the latest on the weather situation. We'll be back tomorrow at 3:45. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye.